I like it. We have an open. We have an intro. We have
go.
some music. This is nice. We don't need to overproduce anything, right? Like, I think people like it if we just go right into it. We're going to overproduce things, aren't we, LG?
I kind of like good production.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
nice. I appreciate it.
That's the premise of this broadcast. By the way, I'm Karl. That's LG, and this is episode 1 of Behind the Squad, BTS. And you might have tuned into our first episode. We're going to keep that up just because
disaster. Yeah.
Well, we were intentionally corny. We were using Rode mics, and we're still going to be a work in progress. But we didn't really even set up lighting. We just set up a random 3-shot. We didn't even mess with the settings all that much. So episode 1, we did on the Rodecaster video audio switching. And you have since actually studied and looked up a little bit, so we're going to be testing that a little bit today.
Yes, the auto switcher is set up, and I think I've got it figured out, maybe.
Yeah, I need to take these off. These are painful.
Can you even see with those?
Not really. They actually are sunglasses. I got these from the Austin Spurs game last night, and I just thought I would open with that. But no, that people probably looking at me were wondering if I would do that the whole broadcast. No, I forgot about them, to be honest with you. Once we turned the lights, camera, action on, I was like, oh right, these are painful to deal with. So, do you have the audio switcher on? Auto switcher on now?
I don't.
Okay,
I can activate it right now. Activating, and now it's activated, and we're on the neutral setting right now. So I don't know what it's going to do. It was on the fast setting when we were just testing it a second ago. Now it's on the neutral setting. So I think for this episode, maybe we just continue with the neutral setting for the entire episode. And the next episode, we test out relaxed or fast.
Okay.
I'm thinking we go relaxed next episode.
We'll stay neutral. It popped right over to me pretty quickly there.
But I feel like you weren't even talking yet and it cut over there. It's we'll see what happens. And so you're on high priority. Okay. Since you're the host, I'm on medium priority. And then the other one's on medium priority, also the wide shot.
So good. Then I guess medium priority goes there. So simple. We actually cut a camera from our production last time. We just have that as our wide shot, quote unquote.
The beauty of the Rodecaster video is you can output 2 cameras on the screen at the same time, and then put a little graphic down the middle like that, like we have there. It says Broadcast Squad if you saw it. That shot right there.
And I like this. This is a bit more natural of a look. And, then we have this whole table. It's nice setup. What's this Demon Queen's name again?
That's Queen Rangda.
Randa.
Yeah, Rangda.
Oh, man.
Yeah. She eats babies. Mm-hmm. She's Balinese goddess.
Just let me know if it comes to life on me back there.
We'll show some respect for the Balinese goddess, yeah.
I guess we don't want it eating our children at some point.
No.
No. You have to wonder. Really, what else are we going to talk about on this podcast other than the Balinese demon goddess, which I'll immediately pivot away from, but it is something worth pointing out if you're watching episode 1.
It's kind of right over your shoulder, so yeah.
Yeah, we're probably not going to address it again, actually. So maybe once or twice.
She may not make an appearance again. We'll see.
Yeah. Well,
once we get some more, decorations in here and stuff like that.
That's going to be the fun part of following us. Is we're going to test out random stuff like this auto switcher that's still on. It's still on you listening to me, so that's kind of interesting. And now I can make my point with people seeing me.
It's the neutral guy, so he's he's just taking it easy. Oh no, that's the relaxed guy. He's just doing his job. The neutral guy's just doing his job.
Go back to the first episode, and the switcher was drunk. We don't necessarily know what we were doing. We did mess around with it a little bit before we actually went on air.
Well, one of the things you brought up on that first episode is I wonder if it was the microphones we're using, because we were using the Rode Wireless Pros, and they are condenser mics that are omnidirectional. So it didn't know where the sound was coming from. It was mixing. Our mics were cross mixing the audio.
Yeah, because that's the thing about the omnidirectionals. It'll just pick up everything. So, and that's my biggest real issue is even though they internally record, if you ever go back and listen to those recordings, it's very likely that you're going to have a hard time isolating just that one voice on those recordings because it's picking up nearby audio and indoor settings and untreated sound rooms like we have now, just walls. We're going to get some panels in here eventually. That's the idea, right?
Yeah, possibly. Once I get some more furniture in here and stuff fills out, the echo will slowly go away.
Yeah, set up we want to set up like a setup for Twitch. That'd be cool over there.
Possibly, yeah. We could do Twitch or maybe have like a lounge setup or something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, that would be interesting to eventually work in guests here, because as nerdy as we are, it is a very much interesting community on the internet where you know that, okay, if you find these people in real life, like you and I can talk about cameras all day and audio equipment all day. It's a rare thing, because even though we're both in the industry, you'd be amazed how many people that maybe are our peers don't even understand what setups we're working right now. Like, this is just a random Audio-Technica headset with a boom mic running into, a mixer as we have two FX30s rolling, and that would make so many people's eyes gloss over. They'd be like, "Oh, it looks good, Carl. Sounds good." Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But the internet, the internet is the confirmation bias you're seeking. If you look hard enough, you're going to find people that, I'm not necessarily a Sony fanboy, but if we're doing this with autofocus on our eyes, we trust it. And it's possibly the, most stress anxiety
there's
thing
really
reducing.
no need for autofocus for the setup we have, but it's Sony. They have good autofocus. Might as well leave it on, right?
Yeah, we really could just do manual focus.
I
but
mean, we're sitting in the same spot, so.
But like
and we're shooting at f4 on both these lenses.
For example, on my Panasonic full frame cameras, I don't have the faith to give it to somebody that has never messed with Panasonic.
Not unless it's one of the new ones.
Yeah, without phase detect, it's not. So
No.
That would be the thing where I have given these to people who were just essentially renting them, and they might not have even known that they were going to rent them. I just brought them as a just in case to a recent shoot, and they had no issues with it. And then they didn't necessarily want to rent it, even though I didn't charge them anymore when I did a shoot the next day. So they used someone's Canon camera. And apparently, there's like something in this Canon camera. I wanted to ask the model of it. You can't monitor the output. It doesn't have the sound bars either. So you can't monitor the audio with just the visual levels.
Okay.
So that was odd. Apparently, it's a setting that is well known. And I've never touched Canon cameras to put up much of an argument.
It's been a while since the DSLR days for me.
Yeah, well, you never know. Someone could just be full of it, I guess, if they were just like saying, "Oh, that's why we're going to continue to use your cameras." It's like, it's fine, But these are beautiful. We just have auto white balance on. We're using two different lenses, so Sigma,
two different manufacturers. I put
F4.
We're shooting S Cinetone 2997. F4 on both lenses. The Sigma, what do you have here? The Sigma 18 to 50?
Yes.
2.8.
Throughout.
We have it stopped down to F4.
Okay.
So it can be at F4 with that one, which is the 18 to 105 power zoom for the Super 35 sensor cameras.
We'll talk about why we use these cameras, why I bought these are my personal cameras. You use Sony full frame, and I think it fits both of us to have the ones that we use, mainly because the majority of these are used in sports broadcasts. That's where the life of these FX30s have kind of been, and I need the power zooms.
The FX cameras, the FX camera line alone has just taken over the sports industry. I just see them everywhere.
Yeah,
on every sports broadcast, they're everywhere now.
Yeah,
good job, Sony. Good job.
Yeah, I think that's the funny thing about like us though. We still would be agnostics about it in a way where if Blackmagic, for example, if I had $10,000 to just drop on a camera, like someone's like, "Carl, you can have this $10,000, but only if you buy a camera with it." In a weird way, I would want it to be the Blackmagic broadcast cameras, that come with the lens, like a B4 lens.
Oh yeah, like the Fujinon kits they have with the Ursas.
Yeah, because like that, like as a video camera, just does everything I would need. I think that they go up to like 6K.
There's nothing wrong with the Blackmagic camera. I mean,
I like the zoom range.
They're getting a lot better, and they're real plain language and real simple and easy to use. The menus are the easiest in the industry.
Yeah,
it's easy to change settings, but they just can't decide on a mount. Hopefully they stick with the L mount. They just put the L mount on one of their newer ones. So
Well,
let's hope so.
15 minutes in, that leads us to our actual like topic that we talk about while we figure out if we like this auto switch. It's doing what
We
it's
have
doing.
a topic. I think it's doing a pretty good job so far.
Yeah.
I don't. It could be a little quicker. So maybe when their fast guy arrives tomorrow or the next day,
Yeah.
right, or the next show, then
When
he might be a little bit more preferred because this guy's good, but he's just doing enough just to get by. He's not putting forth any extra effort or anything, but he's doing a good job switching. It's not great, but it's a good job.
And to go back to your point, when it kind of jumped the gun on me once or twice, I think it's because I'm using this boom mic right on my mouth. We're going to eventually switch over to probably another arm, and I'll just bring my own headphones or something.
If we had matching mics, I think that might help too.
Yeah, like I think sometimes it's really picking up just my like snapping of the lips. Like I just exaggerated there, but obviously
your mouth noises.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is almost the point. Like I noticed we use these for ESPN Plus broadcasts that I'm on, and I notice it occasionally, especially in baseball. Yeah,
it happens.
Oh, I can't have what's the word like throat lozenges during broadcast because you can hear it swishing around my mouth.
Oh yeah, you can't eat.
Yeah,
you can't eat anything.
No,
can't even drink.
Yeah, no. You're right. I probably shouldn't bring any drinks on here. Obviously, I'll still have some, but I do usually hit the cough button.
We need to plug in some cough buttons here at some point. But,
that would help.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm gonna drink.
Yeah, I was about to say, you have one right there. And you were even mentioning how you thought that your noise gate was a little aggressive coming on. So something such as just the processing of your microphone might make a difference into whether this auto switches.
Well, yeah, it seemed a little aggressive, but now that I'm using my broadcast voice, it seems to be fine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
When we were just shooting the S a second ago, it was it was a little iffy. It wasn't opening the gate and letting the audio through, if you will.
Yeah, in fact, I made that mistake on a recent shoot where I recorded no audio because I had too aggressive of like a voice gate, and it was supposed to record sound, like the singing bowls I was telling you about.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, the good thing it wasn't paid. If that were a paid gig, I would have to be like, look, we're going to have to try again.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, because that's the other thing, though. I was taking the class, so I couldn't monitor it. That was the worst part about it was as the class was happening, I was a participant, so I couldn't check to make sure that it was going in. So that's very rare that I do something like that, and I'm not that on top of it, but everybody else is relaxing.
Well,
it wasn't.
You always got to monitor it, man.
Yeah,
always.
And I do have like a Bluetooth adapter there, so if I ever wanted to just be in the back and monitor it and like just listen to how it sounds and make sure it doesn't cut out.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be
Bluetooth.
That might be what I end up doing on that because we'll do a lot of stuff in this BTS behind the scenes, behind the squad conversations because
BTS, not the Korean pop band, the K-pop band.
Are they good?
They're like the most famous K-pop band of all time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I will have to listen to it.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's that popular, how come I don't listen to it? Like, how come I don't hear it just bouncing around? It's super popular, isn't it? K-pop?
Yeah, I guess.
I will put it on my to listen to.
Okay.
Like introduce.
I've never listened to it. I just know that random fact.
I'm not really a big music person, to be honest with you. Growing up in Austin, I've become sort of like how we are with cameras and music agnostic. I like what sounds pleasing.
You're like there's only two kinds of good music, good and bad. Yeah.
If someone enjoys a type of music, I would never hold that against them.
Yeah,
if someone likes K-pop, I'm not going to, be part of the group that hates on K-pop.
Well, BTS is
right in front of them.
Pretty famous K-pop band.
Okay. So, okay. Noted. Let me just put that in here before I forget. Okay. Yeah. So the topic though that we were going to just talk through real quick was first cameras. So like it was a good segue 5 minutes ago. But at this point, like we've kind of hit through our troubleshooting of the audio switcher, and we'll let it go for another 5 minutes. But you heard me off line what my first camera was. But what was your first camera?
I would say my first video camera was like this little tiny Panasonic.
What year?
It was a mini DV camera, so I think it was like 1999.
Oh,
Maybe
wow.
2000. No, it was probably like 2000.
And
Yeah,
it was analog.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's digital tape.
Digital
Yeah,
tape.
digital tape, mini DV. So
Oh.
digital, it's video. Video is digital. So,
But-
but it's an analog machine. It's like a mechanical.
The recording
yeah,
style
the
was a
recording
tape.
system was a tape.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, digital is called mini DV, and Sony actually invented that. Speaking of Sony, and it was I still have it actually, and it works. That was my first ever video camera.
Oh, nice. Yeah, my parents had a camcorder in like the 90s to like, record whenever my brother was in middle school, he was in band and stuff like that,
Yeah, for sure. Home movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like
It's all the rage.
I'd have yeah. Well, it's funny to look back because they converted into digital not too long ago, and I was just a kid.
Nice.
So
I
yeah,
need to do that with mine.
yeah, we went to Chicago and stuff like that. But that was probably the first experience with a video camera. I would say the first one that I bought with my own money was a Canon Vixia $200 in 2012. I remember. I would create a lot of content that's probably still on YouTube, interviewing like Texas State and doing stuff, coaches and players, doing stuff around Texas State for the radio station KTSW. And
The other side of radio.
yeah, I remember that my microphone, probably the wire that was going into the camera, and I just had no idea how audio worked and settings and such, was mono. So you could only hear it out of like the right channel on like the computer and headphones. And that's just something that like, okay, that's a 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid mistake that I obviously, I'm not saying I haven't accidentally done once or twice, but it's something that I'm aware of and know how to troubleshoot when I notice it, down to how to make it a dual mono on a video editor, but, which would have saved me so much time if I wouldn't have needed to buy a new cord. I would have just made it dual mono on the video editor, and that would be it. But yeah, that was my first camera. So I used that until 2013, 2014, when my buddy had used the same one. And it's a funny thing, I'm not going to name names now, but we were working with a outlet that no longer exists, and they probably don't care if I name names, but I just, for the sake of everybody involved, they had the exact same camera, but a year older. So my buddy just gave me the newer camera and gave them mine. And I was just yeah, but like also at the same time, I'm just like, I wish you hadn't done that, because I get the logic of, oh, it's a year newer, but I knew how I treated mine. I didn't know how they treated that one, So you just never know. It's like, that's not the biggest deal, especially when it comes to used equipment in general. You just never know how it was abused.
Oh, it's a crapshoot. You never know. Yeah, you never know. But I buy used stuff all the time, so I take the risk.
The modern ability to return stuff guilt-free really helps, because the last time I bought something from another site that I won't name in case they want to eventually sponsor us, was like super dusty. Literally, I got a used lens. It was very good, and it looked like someone had just left it out without any kind of hood or anything like that, just dust. Then I'm like, you know what?
It's used, man.
Well, yeah, but like it looked like they didn't put any prep work into actually
It looked like it hadn't been touched in years, just collecting dust.
Yeah, but like it was like an Olympus Micro Four Thirds lens that I was excited about, because it was like 20 times optical zoom on a Micro Four Thirds.
12 to 100?
Yeah, 400, 200.
12 to 200.
Yeah, so 24 to 400 range, full frame equivalent.
200. I don't remember that one. Interesting.
It has no internal stabilization, so I had to try and use it on my GH6, but I didn't even attach it to my GH6. It was that dusty. I was just like, you know what? Maybe he was being a little snobby of me, but if it's something that's going to be listed as very good, you might as well, do the dusting for me if that's like not a big deal. Probably wasn't a big deal. I don't know, but yeah, that was the last time I used that like I had a bad experience on.
Yeah.
But yeah, since then we've bought a lot of cameras, and we've used a lot of cameras.
I buy too many. Yeah. So
Gear acquisition syndrome's a real thing. The good news is it's not like we're not using them. Like usually there's a paid gig that's involved by the time we have them.
Oh, trust me, mine get used and abused. Speaking of which, my cameras are pretty abused these days.
Yeah.
Most of mine are getting a little old in the tooth, if you know what I mean. But they still work, so I have no reason to upgrade.
It's beautiful image.
Yeah, they're still great. Still great.
And the other thing that's kind of interesting is I like this S1R2 that just came out for Lumix. It seems like it would be a very interesting camera. The real world samples, probably not in actual sports, but the rolling shutter's not that big of a deal. I like the ability to do 8K, cool, but really, nothing's ever going to be output in 8K for a good while. Like 8K is just not going to be something that is consumed.
It's still not a thing that's going to be popular for at least the next 10 years, I would say.
Well, the only reason you would go above wanting a 6K camera really, or needing a 6K camera, 8K is good too, is if you're really just going to be punching in to reframe, or you're going to virtual reality.
Yeah, or doing like heavy effects and stuff like that with, green screen, stuff like that will benefit from it.
That's true.
But the TV industry, the normal consumer, 8K TVs aren't going to really become a thing for a long time.
Yeah.
And until storage gets a lot cheaper, it's not going to be. I mean, they're still shooting stuff in 720. I just did work camera for the San Antonio FC, the soccer team here in San Antonio, and they shot everything in 720. All the cameras were set in 720.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised that they don't do 1080 and compress, but I think that those cameras are, from what someone told me, and I believe it, is the full definition world started to basically be like, let's just see how far it goes up, because it's almost not ideal for these people who have already invested so much money in 720 to just upgrade to 1080 to then upgrade to 4K. When does it end really? And I feel like we've hit that point where 4K broadcasts are going to be just fine even on a cinema screen.
Yeah.
Right? The Spurs did Ring of the Row on FX3s, and they put it out in theaters in San Antonio. Like, you could go watch it.
There's a bunch of stuff shot on FX3. What's that whole movie that everyone was talking about about a year or two ago? The Creator. The entire movie was shot on FX3s.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
This is a terrible, me listening to you, bad on the
We're
cut.
waiting for a great reaction or something.
No, that's
a reaction shot.
Because I couldn't tell you what name of the movie would be The Creator, but it was just on
Creator.
me listening to you, and I'm just like, okay, come on, Auto Switcher, wake up, because really, unless they were that curious too, it's like, we should look it up. I will say, I feel like my mic might have changed just a little bit throughout the broadcast, but I don't think
Really?
It might just be a weird thing with me. Anyway,
I think that's you.
Only really when we muddied up a little bit, but it's not a big deal.
I don't know.
No, not a big deal. Anyway, this is live television. We talk about things like that. Well, not television, live internet. Yeah. So
live streaming.
So there you go. That was 30 minutes of your life that you'll never get back.
Not quite. We've only been on for 23 minutes.
Oh, that's right.
22 seconds.
We talked about getting on at 10:30, and we made it 10:35.
I accidentally put 10:35, and I wasn't going to change it after I already hit enter. So
yeah. So
or return, as it says here on my MacBook.
I will say this: the NDI makes your hat look a little Kelly green, and in real life, it's the midnight green, and that's about it. Otherwise, beautiful show. Great job.
Is it the NDI? Or how does it look on the other monitor?
On the other monitor, I don't really trust the white balance already.
Oh, we need to switch there. Yeah, it looks better.
Oh yeah, now I just put on the sunglasses. All right, we can end it on that note. Well, this was a fun little BS of a first episode. We'll continue to do more stuff. We'll add more. You have your touchpad there. Is it?
I do.
Is it harder for you to be the sound dropping producer with while also being a co-host?
I didn't think this was the proper show for drops.
Fair enough.
But I can try to figure some out, some corny ones or something.
You have free control. I'm never going to tell you not to.
Okay. Well, here we go. I got some for you. Here we go.
Oh, really? Hey, all right. Good first show. All right. This is Behind the Squad, episode 1 wrapped up.
Peace, y'all. See ya.